Right, Facebook family, it's me, Greg Ellis, and ready to go live. Well, I know I'm a little late, but I'm here. Just got back in town, and so I'm gonna wait for somebody to come on. I always feel like nobody's gonna come on, but every single time we've done it, somebody's come on and other people come on, and so I just feel awkward talking when nobody's up here. So I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes. All right, it's this awkward moments of, I guess I should say, silence. So I'll adjust this a little bit. All right, it's my cousin, Randall. Hey, Randall, you're the first one, man. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking. I'm not going to be long tonight. Appreciate you, Randall, for coming on. And we're looking forward, and I'm looking forward in the future, I should say, to start bringing some people on and talk some mental health stuff. That's one of the things we want to do. Don't have a date for that, but that is one of the things that I want to do and start doing, and try to continue to help people and educate people. Again, I'm not a trained mental health expert or anything like that, but I have a huge passion for it, and want to get some people up here who are trained, professionally schooled in that field to to start speaking on it from an educational level, and praying in Jesus' name that helps some people out. Man, all right, so I think it was yesterday, my wife was telling me we took a road trip, went up to Branson, Missouri, and had a good time with that. Took our only son and one of our daughters up there with us, and had a really nice time up there. And but anyway, she told me what happened to Terrell Davis on the airplane. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you have heard of it by now. I don't know the whole story, don't pretend to know the whole story. But from what I did hear about it when I, went to old trusty internet and Google, JR, hey man, how you doing, brother? Good to see you from Wilmington. All right, enjoy that beach, bruh. But anyway, so I heard that when I went to saw the video about it, what he had to say, and he was on some major news publications, and his story, and again, I won't get it exactly right. Hey, C-Mac, how you doing, brother? I won't get it exactly right, so I'm going to paraphrase it, okay? But he was on a plane, him and his family. I think he said his two sons were sitting beside him on one side of the plane. A row back across the aisle, his wife and their little daughter were sitting there. Sounds like the flight attendant was handing out the beverages, the soda, juice, and whatever they hand out, bottles of water, whatever they hand out to the people on the plane. And his little boy asked for some ice. Well, Terrell said it sounded like the guy had an attitude. I guess something wasn't going right in his life, or maybe just having a bad day. And so he placed the glass down or whatever he gave the kid, Terrell's son, something to drink with. He heard it kind of go down to the table kind of hard. Terrell's son asked for some ice, and the flight attendant, I guess he didn't hear him. That's what Terrell said. And Terrell tried to get the flight attendant attention. Flight attendant did not respond to him, and so Terrell tapped him on the shoulder. I don't know how aggressive it was, but Terrell said he tapped him on the shoulder to get his attention, and the flight attendant just lost it, saying, "Don't hit on me," and goes up to the front of the plane. And then when the plane lands, they tell everybody on the plane to stay seated, and I don't know if it's the FBI, whoever it was, authorities, put it that way, came up on the plane, and one guy, they're police people, right? They walked straight towards Terrell Davis, and one leaned over to him and said, "Don't fight it," and then they handcuff him, take him off the plane. And obviously he feels bad. I would feel bad because, you got your kids right there, man. That's a bad thing. And a lot of bad stuff happens to people. We all have to understand, and I don't know the flight attendant or anything like that. But you don't want stuff like that to happen, and you hate when you hear when stuff like that does happen. You hate to hear it, obviously. And it sounds like the flight attendant was just maybe having a bad day, something. I don't know, obviously, but I just would encourage people. If you're having a bad day, bad moment in your life, something not going your way or the way you want it to go, at least, man, just really try to not to bring it to work. That's the best thing I can tell you. And I know that's hard not to do a lot of times. It's hard for me not to do. I think it's hard for everybody. Sometimes things really weigh heavy on us, and you respond to things the way you shouldn't respond to it, right? But, we have to understand, if we are getting a paycheck to do something, that's our job. And so we owe that company, it's our responsibility, I should say, to do our jobs the way that it is described for us to do it. Case in point, right? I played football, you guys know that, and I'll use my old self. I don't want to use anybody else, but I use myself. I had enough losses in my life. Yep, Nicole, mental health is real. Had a lot of losses in my life on the football field, basketball court, played some high school basketball, junior varsity basketball in college. But, when the opposing team fans hurl insults at us, and some may direct it straight towards me, right? I had to understand that, okay, that may be hard for me not to go over there and do something to that fan, that person that paid their money to get in the game. But I have to understand that that's that person's right. He or she can yell and scream at me all they want to. And it can be hard. And sometimes you've seen some athletes kind of lose it and go over there and say some words back to the fan. But, we as athletes, we have to understand that stuff happens, right? And JR said, sounds like flight attendant needs to find another job. Not dealing with the public. Customer service may not be for them. And that's true, what JR just said. Sometimes you may be in the wrong profession, right? But you have to understand that, people pay their money to get on the plane. People pay their money, in my case, when I was playing, to come to a football game. And, they're going to do and say what they want to. And that's a part of it. So even LeBron talks back to the fans, though. Yep. And even LeBron talks back to the fans. And sometimes that's entertaining in itself for people to talk back to the fans. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with talking back to the fans. I've said some things to fans as well. But that's still with the understanding that fans can come to the game, and you have to brace yourself to understand that, they're going to say bad words to you. That's a part of the game. Hopefully it's done with good sportsmanship, but it is a part of the game. I remember, Micheal Irving, when he got hurt, that was his career-ending injury when he hurt his neck. We were in Philadelphia, and, Mike is down on the ground, on the turf, and, the Philadelphia fans are cheering, and that was real bothersome to me personally, because I'm like, well, when does it stop? We all know it's a game. We know you guys want to win, but, this guy, there's a wasp in my house, but I'm still going strong for my Facebook friends. But anyway, you would think that, okay, enough is enough. We see him down. We see the EMS come down to take his face mask off. That's not a good sign. But, you had people in the audience, in the bleachers, cheering for that Micheal Irving was hurt, and so that's, again, it comes along with the territory. But I agree with JR. Now, that's a strong fact that, maybe you need to adjust your profession to say, you know what, I had enough of this. I'm tired of these people. I don't want to give them the ice anymore. And so you need to go do something else. And so I do agree with that. And so we got to make sure, though, that, when it's our, hey, Gigi, how are you doing? When it's our turn to, to serve, to do our job, we we doing our job, because there's one thing we don't complain about is when we get our paychecks. So if you get the paycheck, then you owe it to that company, that profession, whatever you're doing, to do it the right way. And so I think that's probably, and again, I obviously was not on the plane. My wife told me about it, and I just went to the internet and started searching it and saw Terrell Davis talking about it. And it is a messed up situation, because, you know, he's sitting there with his kids and a guy who has a great reputation. Doesn't mean he's perfect. Beth, how you doing from Nightdale? I just left Nightdale. Doesn't mean he's perfect, but it sounds like, you know, what I said, that this guy may have been having a bad day. The flight attendant is who I'm talking about. And it just didn't go well. Good evening, Miss Bone. Sound like it just didn't go well. So preferably that gets worked out the right way. But it's real, you know, it can be very difficult, right? That happens a lot, you know, with our law enforcement. And again, I've had it happen to me with the law enforcement, and I'll throw this out there. I think the police, for the most part, they have a tough job. Hey, Chris, I just saw Chris in Nightdale too. But they, for the most part, they do a good job. It is a dangerous job. Not too long ago, I heard a police officer that got shot. I don't remember what state it was in. I think it may have been in Texas, and prayers go out to him and his family. And it is a very dangerous job, right? But, you know, we still got to know, you still as a police officer, Vampire, how you doing? You have to do it the right way. I used to drive your school bus. Oh, but I remember. Yes. Used to drive my school bus. But, you know, even as a police officer, hey, Cousin Tina, Shannon, how are you doing? We still have to do it the right way. You know, I remember one night my son and I was coming. I won't mention the city because I don't want to put that city on blast. And again, if you're a police officer up here, I am not throwing insults at you. I'm just using it as an example. I use the flight attendant because that's going on right now with Terrell Owens. And I also heard another one my wife told me about. Just got back on Facebook. Hey, Dan, how are you doing? Salt and Pepper. I think it was Pepper from Salt and Pepper, the old school rap duos, two of them. Well, Salt and Pepper and Spinderella was three of them. So loved it. Great music. Back in the day music. But anyway, she was on a plane. She bought 2 tickets. Won't mention the airlines. I don't want any trouble with anybody saying Greg made the airline look bad. But she purchased 2 tickets because she wanted the extra space. And I've done that before for somebody in my family. Purchased 2 tickets to give them extra room. So that does happen, right? And then somebody wanted to sit beside her. And she said, well, I've purchased, extra tickets, so I got both of these seats. And the flight attendant goes and checks to make sure, goes out off the plane, checks at the front desk and not the front desk, but the terminal where they give the tickets to them. Check to make sure, and sure enough, comes back, yep, that is her seat. But some other people wanted to purchase a seat to get on the plane, who was there. That another, I don't know if the same flight attendant or another flight attendant comes back, or somebody with with that airline comes back and says, okay, you're going to give this seat up, just demanding of her to give the seat up. And she, I don't know if she did or didn't give it up, but the point of it that I'm making about it is that, okay, for that airline, she purchased 2 tickets. You allowed her to purchase 2 tickets. And again, I've done it. I don't always do it, but I have done it myself before. And so it happens. People do purchase 2 tickets for one person. And she did that for herself. My argument would be is that, okay, airline, you didn't complain when she was giving you her money to purchase 2 tickets. You just was glad that she was spending more money on purchasing 2 tickets. All right. And so, but now somebody else is up here. The plane is going to be at capacity. And so now you want to push the issue for her. No, I think they took her off the plane. That's what happened. I think my wife said they took her off the plane. But I think that's, again, somebody maybe bad day, making some bad decisions. And so, again, I just would encourage people, man, once you, as we in football, once you cross that line, you go out there and play your sport, do your job, work your job, your career, whatever you're doing. You know, you have to understand that people are paying their money, and some of the stuff that goes on, to me, it's like, it's common sense. It's like, once you check to see if Peppa had purchased 2 tickets, and you confirm, not from your feelings, but it is confirmed, yep, she's on the books for 2 tickets. Unless she chooses to give one of those tickets up, we sold it to her. Now, airline companies, they can go back, they can go from this day forth and change that rule if they choose to. But if a person purchases 2 tickets, the airline company sold them 2 tickets, we have to respect that they purchased 2 tickets. Now, that flight attendant may have gotten mad to say, oh, who do you think you are? I know you're this famous rapper and you think you have the right to purchase 2 tickets. Well, you can't take it like that, because the airline company sold her the 2 tickets, and we have to respect the fact that, you know, this person purchased 2 tickets. And I don't think that needs to change. I think some people, you know, they may have a medical condition that makes it more comfortable for them to have 2 tickets, you know, seat right beside them, a vacant seat that, you know, they can spread out, or whatever the case is. But, you know, if that's the case, we have to respect that. And then we have to understand that what is our job description? This is what I was talking about with the police. One night, my son and I was coming from a church. I mean, a church of all places, right? Police get behind. I'm driving. My son at that time he was just getting his driver's license, or he had his learner's permit. Hey, Walter Harris, how you doing, brother? Oh, he had his learner's permit. But either way, it was 11 o'clock at night, and, you know, we were at an event at a church, and, you know, the pastor and myself stayed after. We talked for several hours, it seemed like, but a good time. But nevertheless, so my son and I get in the car, we leave, and I see a police get behind me, and I'm figuring he's going to stop me. And so I turn right, get ready to get on the highway, and we go through a 4-way stop sign. As we go through this, I stop, didn't go. And when I go, another police was at that stop sign. He turned and got behind me. And I'm thinking, okay, what is going on? One police stops me. That's, something, I don't know, tail light out or whatever. But this other police gets behind me, and he hits me with his lights. And so, of course, I pull over. And in the blink of an eye, they had my son and myself surrounded. But again, I'm staying cool, calm, and collected. Roll down the window. They go on my side and my son's side. But I'm thinking, okay, this is a little overkill. Police officer says, one of them standing on my side says, you know what I stopped you for? And I said, maybe I didn't yield or do the right turn or something like that. And he said, no, at that 4-way stop sign, you rolled past the little white line that's on the ground. And I told him, I said, well, I didn't see a white line. I stopped, but I didn't see a white line to roll past. And he said, well, sometimes it washes away. So if it washed away, that means it's not there. But nevertheless, once they found out that, I played with the Dallas Cowboys, all that kind of stuff, apologies start to be issued out. And I thought to myself, man, and they told me, they said, well, they made up an excuse. And they said, well, last night a car looking just like this, we were trying to catch them and they got away from us. And I didn't say anything to the police officer about it, but I just thought in my head, I'm like, so right now, you guys have me surrounded. If I wanted to get away, I would have to run one of your cars and crash it all out the way to try to get out of this predicament. So I don't see how he can outrun all of y'all. But nevertheless, we found out who I was, they apologized, and then they let me go. But what went through my head, man, was, okay, what if, I didn't play with the Dallas Cowboys and I get stopped like that? It's pretty scary, to be honest with you. And I'm a big guy. You guys can see I'm a big guy. But when the police, some police officers, again, love police officers, so please don't take this the wrong way. I promise you I love police. So I donate to police departments and stuff. I've done that for many years. But again, falls in that same category. Something could have been going wrong in those police mind. I don't know. But, I just want to make sure. I can't make sure, but I would say this. to all of us, right? Understand what your job description is. And as my friend JR said it, JR and I went to high school together, but he's older than me. But understand what your job description is. Understand what you are signing up for, and that you're willing to do and perform that job, and understand what comes along with that job. And once you sign your name to agree to the descriptions that is required of you, the work, the labor, the whatever is required of you, once you agree to that, then you owe it to that company, to that city, to that airline company to comply and do your job. You can't get into your feelings once you cross that line to say it's time to go play football, it's time for me to put on my badge, it's time for me to get on this airplane to serve these people. That's what your job is. And flight attendant, you're not there to try to boss people around. You're there to, I don't know the job description of a flight attendant, but I do know when you're serving, you're there to serve, you're there to keep the order. But to be irate with people about something that you may brought from home, not going to work out good. Police departments, and I'm just using this as an example. So again, not bashing anybody. Police officers, it's everybody knows that, to protect and serve. I don't know all the descriptions of a police officer, what their job responsibility is, but most of us, we know the old saying is to protect and serve. And so when you're treating people the wrong way, something personal may go on, or some of your personal views, whatever it is. You may not like the way a person look, the color of them, whatever it is. But once you sign on that dotted line, you have agreed to protect and serve. And if you're not doing that, then you're wrong, because you're accepting the paycheck. Me, as a football coach, right? I agree to do my best to help the football players to be ready for the football season. Case in point, I was out of town. Like I said, I just got back today, matter of fact. I was out of town. One of the defensive line, I'm the assistant D-line coach, and he asked me for some information. I had to go through a lot to get it. But even though I was on vacation, my responsibility is still to that football program, and which happens to be the Dallas Cowboys. And some people may say, well, no, Greg, you was on vacation. You shouldn't know, because I get a paycheck from the Dallas Cowboys. And so my commitment is, now I couldn't get it to him right away because I had to go through some stuff to get it. But nevertheless, hey, Brian, be wise, I got it to him. And so we have to understand, and I'm going to wrap it up. But again, hopefully and prayerfully, everybody got something out of this. And you may say, why did you spend your live time talking about this? You didn't talk a lot about mental health. And of course, I'm going to still get some of my mental health stuff in there. But I just want to make sure, because these kind of moments can bring about and affect people's mental health when we carry on and don't fulfill our work obligations. Terrell Davis, hope I didn't say Terrell Owens anytime during this Facebook Live, but Terrell Davis is who we're talking about, the running back from Denver, great Hall of Fame running back, one of the best cutback running backs who ever played, in my opinion. But, they were doing one of the interviews, and his wife got kind of emotional. And I can see it, man. You think about it. She's watching her husband being detained with handcuffs like he just a criminal, and the dude didn't do nothing but tap the flight attendant on the shoulder. That's not good. That affects a person's mental health. And so when they stopped my son and myself, again, that's not good. And it's not good, especially for my son, because, he's a young African-American, young black boy, young black man. And to see, the police officers doing that, and that wasn't good, that makes him look at police officers, in a negative light. And I explained to him, all police officers aren't like that. But, we got to understand and make sure that we are doing our jobs and doing them the right way. And then to the general public, when the people who are in charge, like flight attendants, police officers, make sure we comply so they can do their jobs the right way as well, right? We got to make sure that that happens, if you ask me, as well. So, all right, we'll shift gears. Mental health is an important issue. You are great for your efforts. Thank you, Vampry. He's talking about mental health, and again, we're pushing really hard about mental health. And most of you know we have a movie. The movie is titled My Dear. We considered, I should say, doing a very, very limited release of the movie in the DFW area for September. September has a week in it, and some people, they say it's a whole month, but it's the week of suicide awareness. And we were going to do a very limited release of the movie in the DFW area in movie theaters during September. But, I decided, because got to get ready for training camp, and like I said, I'm a workaholic and I like to have my hands on it. And I know getting ready for training camp, being in training camp and the season starting, is no way that I would be able to put my hands on it and be involved with it as much as I would like to. Because again, my commitment where I signed on to do with the Dallas Cowboys, it has to come first, because I agreed to that. And so I have to fulfill that. And I want to make sure that I'm giving all my best efforts to that, and trying to have even a limited release. I thought, I would get frustrated because I wouldn't be able to do some of the things that I would want to do to help that limited release to be successful. Because like I said, some of you have heard me say before, when you're doing movies like this, it's entertaining. It's not a documentary, but still, sometimes when it's a call to action movie, Hollywood doesn't really get behind those kind of movies, and so you got to do a lot of pushing yourself. Nina, how are you doing? Good to see you up here. Chris, how you doing, my brother? But I'm glad to see some of those movies, like, for example, a movie called Sounds of Freedom. And it was about human trafficking, okay, especially with kids, which is a tough subject. And I'm glad they did that movie. And it was a great quality movie, taught us a lot about human trafficking. But again, as good as that movie was, when I say good, meaning quality-wise, top-notch movie, they had to couldn't go the traditional way of getting that movie to the theaters and getting it out there. And God, please correct me if I'm wrong, that movie set on the shelf. When they say set on the shelf, meaning the movie is complete and you're trying to get it, in a distribution chain. And it took them like 3 or 5 years I heard between 3 or 5 years before that movie could get distribution and get out. And so when you're doing those call to action, hey Erica, how are you doing? It can be very challenging to get them out. So Vampry said, I lost a great friend of mine to suicide. That's why this is an important issue to me. Well, man, my condolences still. When we did this movie and when I was sharing the synopsis with people, there were so many people that opened up to me, and that's really why, guys, I said I want to start a foundation about mental health and just trying to bring, hey Amy, how are you doing, to bring awareness to mental health, and then even go a step further, to try to hire and bring in volunteers that can be of service to people who may be dealing with mental health, and to help people to become more educated about mental health, because a lot of times mental health, it can be subtle, but sometimes it can be very aggressive, right? Person has Alzheimer's disease, that's still mental, and you can see that. You can see that person, they're not the same. They don't remember sometimes their own name, and that the mind goes and comes, if you would. The memory goes and comes. You can see that. Sometimes the person may be going through an episode of a schizophrenic episode, and may even have to be detained. Again, you can see that. I would love to help as social worker somehow. All right, well, just message me on Messenger through Facebook, Amy, and we'll, get to talking about that. You can see those more aggressive, hey, Coach Pointer, how are you doing? You can see those more aggressive bouts when it comes to mental health disorders. But the more subtle ones are the ones that you really have to be careful about, because people, for example, it may get dismissed as, oh, he or she, especially he, is having a midlife crisis. Not saying midlife crises don't exist, but if you live the first 50 years of your life a certain way, and all of a sudden you become this total different person, especially negative, right? If you've been doing something right the right way, and just living a life that people saying, hey man, that's a good guy over there, but all of a sudden, you become this different person, start to go around, start fights or whatever you do. Then, and some people say, okay, he's just going through a change, there's just a midlife crisis and this and that. It's like, well, could be, but also could be something could have triggered that person, and now he or she is having a mental health breakdown, if you would. And so that person is really not carrying on and doing things that they normally would do, and they're not like their normal self. That's what I call those more subtle. I don't have the professional name for it, but you have seen it yourself when just somebody that you know, and all of a sudden they seem like a total different person. You're like, okay, what just happened? And so, I would encourage you to watch that person. I was talking to this lady while I was in North Carolina. I was talking to her on the phone, and she is a mental health trained professional, and she's going to be working with us as well, God's willing, with our foundation. And part of what she do is to help people, train people, qualify people, and license people to be able to help identify if a person is at risk for suicide. Just looking for those signs, and she's not making you a doctor, but just again teaching you some of the signs to look for. And she herself is a suicide survivor, and she made a call to a family member, and said, you can have some of my things. I won't say exactly what she said, but thank God that family member called it and said, okay, why are you saying this? Why are you saying I can have something that's near and dear to you? Why out of the blue all of a sudden you saying I can have that? And then, like I said, the lady, thank God she got the help she needed. But pay attention to people if you can. I know this one guy, I won't mention his name neither, but did a lot of stuff with him, and he opened up to myself in the audience and said he contemplated suicide himself. And so it's a very touchy subject. It's a very serious topic, if you would. And so again, just try to pay attention and offer help, and just when you can, talk to people. But if you see something that's different about a person, just pay attention. And again, none of us can catch everything. I've known some really close people in my life that have committed suicide, and I'm just freaking shocked. I know some successful people, whatever success is, but in the world standards, it usually comes along with money. People have had, lots of money and have chose still to end their life. And so again, guys, as people say, it takes a village, right? And so let's make sure that, we're making ourselves available to help each other, and people personally in your life, just you see different things, just reach out to them and check on them if you see something that's different about them. Okay. And as for us, when we are putting stuff out there about mental health, again, please, we need support. Asking you, not social worker or trained worker, but would love to help lost best friend to suicide. Nate Tucker said that. Well, thank you for your willingness to help. And I'm going to ask people to help. Once we put the movie out, I'm going to ask everybody. Once we have identified that date, Excuse me, I have a ceiling fan on and it is making me cough. But I'm about to be finished, so I don't want to get up and turn it off. But again, I'm going to be asking people for help, and it doesn't always have to be money. Okay, it may be help spreading the word whenever we put the movie out. Spreading the word about our app. Please, you can go download the app. It's called Getting My Help, GETTING, my MY help HELP. It's free to download, so it's on the Apple and Android platform. And so you can go download that. It's a work in progress, but the more people that download it, the more help we will be able to get, and pour more resources into it to help to continue to develop it. Right now, the main part of it is we have a couple videos up there of people. Man, I keep forgetting my one guy named from Kansas City, Eric Warfield. There we go. Sorry, Eric, I just drew a blank. But Eric Warfield is retired from Kansas City Chiefs. Played with them for many years. He opened up about his personal struggles with mental health challenges and disorders, and he admitted to getting the help, and he's doing great now. Sounds like. Micheal Gaines is another retired football player. Played with Carolina Panthers and a couple of other teams. He opened up with his mental health battles as well, and he's doing great now, got help. And there are other people up there as well. And so you go check out some of those videos. The concept behind it is that you may see some people that you recognize from playing ball or from doing other things and recognizable things in life. And if they admitted that they had some mental health challenges and they went and got some help, then it's okay for you to go get some help. Excuse me 1 minute. Let me turn this ceiling fan off. All right, I'm back. Whew, looking funny with this button all the way up. But anyway, so again, you just find the videos up there. You can look at those videos. What else we have? And if you say, you know what, I want to get some help, we have a resource tab there. That resource tab, we have a couple of trained, and those people are trained professional in the mental health field. Let me see what this says. My good friend Amanda, owner of room, maybe it's a typo, from Change, has been a great help for a lot of people near and dear to me, including my own son. Counseling for all aspects, including suicide. Well, great. Thank you for sharing that, Erica. Is that Eric? I think Eric Harris. Thank you for sharing that. I was about to ask, where's your water? Thank you, Coach Pointer. Here's my water. But anyway, so in our resource tab, there are trained professionals. You click any one of those, it goes to their website. They're not paying us to be up there, and I'm not paying them to be up there either, but it's a community where stuff is free. And so we just want to invite as many trained professionals to be a part of our resource category. And so when people see the videos, if they want to reach out to get some help, they would have a library of trained professionals to select from. Right now, we don't have a lot of trained professionals there. I think we got about 4 or 5. We're working to increase that number, but we want to make sure that the people, we do put their link in there, their information, that they are trained professionals. Okay, so we're doing that. But again, we need help to get the movie out, especially whenever we identify that date. And so once we identify that date and start putting it out, make sure you go see it. Make sure you go online to whatever movie theater we're blessed to get it in. Purchase your tickets early so the movie theater, see, the way movie theaters works is that, especially an independent film like this, or Sounds of Freedom and those kind of films, you have to really produce. When I say produce, meaning that, if people aren't going to see that movie, then the movie theaters say, well, hey, we got to take it out. And then they take it out of the movie theaters. And so they don't give you time to try to build it up either, right? So we need people to go purchase tickets in advance. Once you see it on that movie theater's website, please, please, please go purchase tickets. So I ask people to do that. All right. Think that's about it for us. But again, just stay tuned for the stuff that we're going to be releasing for his mental health. We're working on this cartoon actually as well. And so be on the lookout for that. But again, reach out. You can message me if you want to be a part in getting my help in helping the movie to get out there once we, announce that date. So please, hit me up on Messenger and I'll start composing a spreadsheet of people who have said they want to help. Again, I'm not trying to turn you into a worker for our foundation, but hopefully and prayerfully that you understand it's important for people to get the necessary help that they need, and for in helping us to bring awareness to mental health, if you would. So, all right. Well, that's it, man. Congratulations for making it through this week. Yep, I know we have one more day to go, but you can do one of anything. So hit that last day. Don't call in from your jobs. Remember what we talked about earlier. We all have, jobs and things to do that we sign on the line for. So make sure you fulfill your obligation. It's holy. It's good in God's eyes for us to do all of our work joyfully unto Him, unto God. So make sure that we are keeping that commandment and working unto God, doing our job, fulfilling our responsibilities to that job, to that career, the way we should. All right. Love everybody. God bless you. Just reach out. It'll take me a while to get back to everybody. But again, I'm going to start to compose a spreadsheet with your name and your, if you're comfortable putting your number in there, please do that. Or your email, you can put that in there as well. And then we'll be, once we announce the date in which we're going to put the movie out, then we'll ask you to share that. Again, the walkathon stuff we did 2 of them thus far. The goal is to do 98 of them. And that's it. We also have on our app the 988 hotline, suicide hotline, prevention hotline. So if, you get the app and, somebody, if you're struggling, contemplating suicide, you can click it on our app, click that link, takes you right over to all of the numbers in several different countries, several different languages as well. And so, we want to have a quick direct link for you to get there if you, are if you are in that space. Preferably you're not, but if you are, that app, you can click that suicide prevention link, takes you right over there, and you can find it in different languages and call that number. And there are people there that will talk to you and will talk with you and, encourage you to make the right decisions. All right, everybody, have a terrific weekend. We're getting ready for training camp. A couple of days, we're going to get ready to go and be in training camp. My prayers to those football players who are in training camp. I have to remind myself this is my fourth training camp as a coach, but my first one as a professional, coach in the NFL. The other 3 were at the college level. So this is my first one as a coach in the NFL, and so looking forward to it. It's I have to remind myself I'm going to camp with the Dallas Cowboys, not as a player because that's a different mindset, but as a coach. But I am looking forward to it. Hey, James Hayes, how you doing, man? I'm looking forward to it. So appreciate you guys' prayers for the Dallas Cowboys as well. Please do pray for us, pray for the guys, the players, the coaches, the ownership, all of it, man. We can use your prayers, your support. I know, decisions that you want to be made for the team doesn't always get made, but just know the decisions are being made to try to help win football games. And I know sometimes it may not seem that way, but I can assure you it is. It's a huge business when you talk about professional football in the NFL. And so A lot of things have to factor into equations, and sometimes your favorite player may not be able to be kept on the team for salary cap reasons. That happened to me, and it happens to a lot of players, a lot of good players, and tough decisions have to be made. And so, but again, it's a part of the game, and it's a good product. When I'm saying product, I'm talking about the NFL is a good product, and I'm glad to be a part of it. For those of you who wonder, like, well, Greg, what took you so long to become a part of it? And for me, guys, it was, okay, I know I'm rambling, but I feel obligated to tell you this, then I'm going to let you go. I had opportunities to coach people while I was, finishing up my playing career. Some coaches would ask me, have I ever thought about coaching? And I would tell them, man, I want to do it one day, and I love it, love football, want to do it. But, I told them, the truth is I'm a workaholic, and you guys know that. Football welcomes workaholics, especially NFL. And so it welcomes people like that. And I'm married, and we have 3 kids. And at the time, when I first retired, our kids were extremely young. And so I felt like, you know what, it probably wouldn't be good for them, for me neither, nor my wife, if I would just go straight into coaching with our kids being so young. And so I took the chance. When I say took the chance and not coach right then, because I love it and I wanted to do it. And I took the chance because the line for people who want to coach, especially in the NFL, is very long. There are people who will coach in the NFL for free. They can't do it for long for free, but they would, give you a year probably for free just to be around it. People love it just that much. And here I was turning those opportunities down. And I honestly thought that it wouldn't come back around. And this friend of mine, he was actually one of my bankers, and I shared that with him. And he's a Christian man, and he said, Greg, that's real good of you to make that sacrifice for your family and not go and coach right now. And he said, Greg, but I'm pretty sure to come back around. And I remember telling him, I said, Frank, no, it's not going to come back around, because again, I knew how hard it was to get into the NFL as a coach. And again, I'm turning opportunities down, and I thought that would be it. But, God had a different plan, and thank God he did, because I do love football, and I'm so blessed to be able to get back in there. And I was blessed even, being able to coach at the college level, NAIA level, and I appreciate the NAIA for allowing me to do that as well. And now, obviously I appreciate the NFL and thank God for that opportunity as well. So that's it. In case you're wondering, man, what took you so long to get coaching in the NFL, get to coaching in the NFL? So that's what happened. All right, here we go. We got AC. I remember that. Always told you that you would be a great coach. Alex. Hey, Alex. How you doing, brother? Thank you, Alex. Good to hear from you. Pray you're doing well, my brother. All right, guys. Love everybody. But also as a coach, I still love creating content and love helping people. And so that's why we have Getting My Help, the Mental Wellness Foundation. And, we want to create content to try to help people. But again, still provide services as well to help people. All right, guys, I'm gone. I know it went a little long, but had a lot of stuff on my heart and on my mind. Love everybody. God bless you. Enjoy. Tasha Harris, you just coming on. Now, you got to go watch the whole thing again, because we've been up here for about 30-something minutes, probably longer than that. But anyway, got to go. Love everybody. God bless you.